Well, the Eagles just got some brutal injury news right before flying down to Brazil, but the story behind Devin White's new ankle injury is even more surprising. Plus, the Packers are dealing with an injury of their own to one of their star weapons, and DeVonta Smith assured the fans yesterday that 0 preseason reps won't hurt the Birds' offense. I'm Thomas Mott, this is the Thomas Mott Show. So if you thought today would be just a quiet travel day for the Birds, with the team right now sitting on a Boeing 777 for a 10-hour flight to Brazil, well, you'd be 100% wrong. Just 1 hour before takeoff, the Birds released their final injury report for Friday's matchup versus the Packers, which showed usual stuff like Landon Dickerson and A.J. Brown as full participants with rest designations, Isaiah Rodgers limited with a minor hand issue, but then right there at the top, the bombshell of Devin White being out with an ankle injury. And with that ankle injury, White will now not travel with the team today to Brazil and naturally not play in the season opener. But that's just the beginning. The reports coming out after Devin White officially being listed as out are a lot more serious. Just minutes after the Eagles released this injury news, the Inquirer's Jeff McLean tweeted, quote, Nakobe Dean was slated to be the Eagles' starting Mike linebacker, and that's middle linebacker, before the team listed Devin White on the injury report on Tuesday, NFL sources said. Dean beat White out in Eagles training camp. It's unclear what role the Eagles had for White, if any, on defense. Nevertheless, he wasn't on the plane when the team departed for Brazil this morning. That was then echoed by NFL national reporter Albert Breer adding, quote, there were murmurs the Eagles could trade Devin White before cutdown. Zach Bond and Nakobe Dean both were really good in camp. So, fair or not, White missing the opener won't help his case for a big role in the defense. What? Like, this is all brand new stuff we have not heard, at least during training camp. Like, first off, where is this Nakobe Dean outperformed Devin White the entire training camp report actually coming from? Dean was consistently running with the Birds' second-team linebackers almost every single day throughout camp behind Devin White. And of course, in the preseason games, it was always White and Zach Bond with the first-team defense, followed by Nakobe Dean and Jeremiah Trotter. Now, I'm not saying Dean didn't have a great final 2 weeks of camp. This whole idea that Dean clearly won the job and we should all not be surprised by this news is honestly news to me. And again, I'm not at training camp, and so I decided to reach out to somebody who was in managing editor of Bleeding Green Nation, Brandon Lee Gouton, via Twitter, and asked his take on the whole situation. To which he told me, quote, I don't think it's quite as simple as Dean and Bond were going to play 100% of the snaps no matter what. I still think White will have a role if and when he's healthy. Fangio even said it's an ongoing battle. My expectation prior to this White injury report was that Dean might not officially start the game, but would finish it with the most linebacker snaps played. Now again, I wasn't at training camp. I can't say any of this for sure, but I did cover all the reports coming out of training camp daily, like every single day on my channel, on my show, and not really once did it seem like White was in a battle with Dean for LB1 right to the end. It was always White is starting, and then they'd mix Dean in towards the latter parts of practice. Still though, the Birds' final depth chart, released again yesterday morning, showed Dean as a starter with a little slash there right next to Devin White. So I guess maybe the plan all along was a rotation at linebacker to start the season, and then of course deciding the best 1-2 punch a few games later, which I guess DC Vic Fangio maybe hinted at during his press conference yesterday.
It's challenging. They have a really good play action game, which, linebackers are the ones primarily being attacked with that. So it is very challenging, and we haven't seen a lot of that type of play action in training camp. And so it is a challenge for sure.
So much is made about your linebacking core competition during the training camp. Do you consider that ongoing as we get into the season, or in your mind, do you know what you want?
No, it's ongoing. You would like to settle into guys, in a normal play time rotation, who's in on what, but it's still ongoing.
But still, I'm just not buying this whole idea that Dean completely blew Devin White out of the water and was going to be the Birds' starting linebacker from day one going forward. Oh, and there's the other part that Albert Breer hinted at, that the Birds wanted to trade White before cutdown day. Again, very bizarre, the fact it's coming out right now and not right during cutdown day, either way. But okay, sure, let's just take that at face value. The Eagles wanted to trade away Devin White. Maybe that's an indication of just how impressive someone like rookie Jeremiah Trotter Jr. was during camp. Like, we do remember, Trotter Jr. did mix in with the ones, again, on very rare occasions, and did play well with the second and third teamers in preseason. He's obviously still been called very raw and not necessarily ready, but White's on a one-year deal, whereas Trotter is on a multi-year, long-term contract investment, so maybe they just want to rip the Band-Aid off now, get Trotter as much playing time as possible, and just kind of move on from Devin White. Now, I'd love your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below, because I'm trying to emphasize how bizarre this whole situation really is. I covered training camp every single day the past, month and a half, and it was always Devin White as LB1, he's starting today, and then slowly slowly Dean worked his way up, and I thought it was, close, but it wasn't to the point where Dean was going to be the number one linebacker and White was hardly going to play in the season opener prior to the injury. Either way, though, I guess we have confidence in Nakobe Dean's abilities, and maybe, hopefully, he plays well. We're going to have to find out, and I personally hope Jeremiah Trotter Jr., if it is an indication he's going to play a lot more, performs up to the standard of a starting linebacker and doesn't look like a rookie like a lot of linebackers have done in the past. Either way, Trotter did tell the media yesterday he's
what kind of went into you having that comfort level
heading into Friday.
Really just the preparation I had throughout, my whole career up to this point. Just make the most of any opportunity you get, have a professional mindset, work hard, 110% every single day, get extra work in, and that's something I just try to, work on and do throughout my whole career.
Now, the Eagles weren't going to win or lose this game solely based on Devin White's performance, if he played, if he didn't, but still, Josh Jacobs seems to be a legit threat and a serious concern for defensive coordinator Vic Fangio, and the linebackers are kind of the main reason why you stop or actually give up a lot of big runs. Here's to hoping Nakobe Dean, who historically has done a lot better in run stopping versus pass coverage, has a really solid night on Friday and, of course, slows down Josh Jacobs and company. Now, very quickly, if you're waiting to see who wins the Eagles versus Falcons home opener Monday Night Football tickets I'm giving away, I'm close to 60K subs, but I need to give those away, and so here's what we're going to do. On Saturday's recap video, so make sure you watch Saturday's recap video, you got to be a subscriber and comment, and you have to watch the video to see what you comment on that video to enter the official drawing pool. I'll draw that winner on Monday's show, and so you're going to find out pretty darn soon, but Saturday's recap video is how you go ahead and enter to win those tickets. Now, on the Packers injury front, they have some news too. Of course, dropped yesterday that wide receiver Romeo Dobbs suffered a hand injury and was limited in their final walkthrough practice before flying from Green Bay. Dobbs did tell the media, though, afterwards, it was a contusion on my hand and taking some time to heal, and it is a day-to-day process. I was able to function in practice the way I'm supposed to. So it sounds like he's obviously going to play, but he might not be 100%, and that is significant news as Dobbs is considered maybe the second best receiver on that Packer offense behind Christian Watson. Now, one little good bit of news for both teams worried about field conditions at Arena Corinthians in Sao Paulo. Turns out it's actually the same type of grass, same playing surface that both the Bird Stadium has in Philadelphia and Lambeau Field has in Green Bay. It's a small nugget, but good to know in terms of the actual playing conditions on a foreign soil field. It should be very similar to what the Birds and Packers have been used to. Now, yesterday, the Eagles also added to their practice squad by signing former Eagles offensive lineman Jack Driscoll and wide receiver Kyle Phillips, while releasing tight end Kevin Fulch and safety Caden Stearns. We all know about Driscoll, but Phillips is kind of interesting here. He has a lot of punt return abilities in the past with the Tennessee Titans. I don't think he was signed just to be a practice squad wide receiver, but maybe more backup assurances from a punt return standpoint behind Britton Covey. Now, all week long, I've been reading your comments about your biggest concern for the Packers game, and a lot of people have been saying the rust of the offense. Not playing the preseason was a mistake, and the offense is going to have a very, very slow start, which is honestly a pretty fair concern. I mean, the Eagles offense looked really sluggish to start the season last year on the road during that rainy New England win, but I guess if it helps, DeVonta Smith told reporters yesterday that this year's training camp was very different. The offense feels ready to go, and they should be fine from the first whistle on Friday night.
Yeah, for sure. Only difference between the game and practice is we don't go to the ground. The tempo that we've been going at, the pace we've been going, the amount of plays we've been getting every series, every drive, we always simulate it to a game. So the only difference is we just don't tackle.
Oh, and remember how Saquon Barkley apparently had his best practice of the week so far, wowing Nick Sirianni, we talked about on yesterday's show. Well, he was asked about that during his final press conference before flying down to Brazil, and he said, hey, yes, but I'm excited to watch the rest of the guys in this offense absolutely dominate.
I'm looking forward to see the DeVonta show, the A.J. Brown show, the Jalen Hurts show, Dallas Goedert show, all those guys. We put a lot of work in camp. Obviously, we didn't go out there in preseason, but we had great competition with our defense, and I think we got a great game plan, so I'm excited to go out there and try to execute it.
Now, the Eagles, again, as of filming this, are en route. They're on a plane right now flying over the continental United States down to Brazil. They'll land at 10 p.m., have dinner, and go to bed. Tomorrow is going to be very interesting. They have kind of a community day. Not exactly sure how that's going to look. We should also hear from some Eagle coaching staff, maybe some players. We'll cover it all here on the channel. We're getting closer to actual kickoff in the news. It's going crazy. Make sure you hit that sub button. I'm Thomas Mott. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.